Hello guys, we are back once again with another video slash stream on my day off of streaming. Funny enough. One thing I realized I haven't done in a while is react to YouTube videos. So I thought we would tackle that today. So for the purposes of having someone to talk to, so I'm just not talking to the void. Uh, I am also live streaming this at the same time, but I just want to say hi to you those hopefully watching on YouTube afterwards. So I got a couple videos already queued up that I want to watch specifically, and then there are maybe other ones we might watch. I'm not sure yet, but either way, I hope you enjoy my reaction to these videos. I am going to make sure that you can see who the original posters of the video are, and I will put links to any I watch in the description of the video as well for sources so that you can like, subscribe, and stuff to everyone so that I'm not just like stealing their content. Okay? Um, but first off, we are starting with Why Season 4 Characters Suck by GekkoSquirrel, who has 83.1k subscribers. Hello, girl in purple. We are doing a YouTube watch today. Hello, for YouTube. Hello, hello. But yeah, this is the first video. Why Season 4 Characters Suck by GekkoSquirrel with 8.31k subscribers. Very, very big strive and fighting game related channel. Let's see what he has to say. Hello, Element. Hello.
It's been a little all over the place. You could say it's had some ups and downs.
Hello, Emmy. Thank you for rubbing my hair.
Busted. Some characters have
I love how straight away he's just like, yeah, when Slayer came out, that shit was broken. That shit was broken. Everybody hated Slayer when he first came out. Based video. Based. Oh, I don't know what that note. Purple! Thank you for subscribing with Prime. Okay,
Thanks for subscribing.
I need to hit play.
I am not doing all right.
Unplayable.
I think I nearly got
I'm sorry to hear that, Element.
Fine. But generally, the power level of DLC characters has been steadily growing over time, with some very sharp spikes in the middle. So you would.
I love how he calls Asuka a sharp spike when all Shibuka is fireball, 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 and more fireball, and just super annoying to deal with.
I think following this trend that the last season of DLC would be something absolutely insane. And you'd be wrong. Let's talk about the Season 4 DLC.
He'd be right that you'd be wrong. They all suck. Except, I know Sora is really good with Dizzy, but, like, overall, they just all kind of suck for me, personally.
DLC characters, and how they're all pretty fucking weak. Every single character in this DLC is at least below mid-tier. I'm not having an argument about this with any of you. The best that any of these characters have been is viable with a big question mark at the end of it.
I'd especially put viable on Unica. I may have trouble with her sometimes, like fighting against her, but ultimately she's kind of predictable, if that makes sense.
Which is kind of
it just
weird.
kind of depends on
We
who
have
I'm using
two
against her.
classic characters, a newcomer, and our first ever crossover character. Of all the characters to make really strong, you would expect these characters to all be near the top of the charts, especially the crossover one. So, what gives?
Yeah, Art kind of fucked that one up.
Why are they weak? Well, they're all weak for different reasons. There's no main point on why these characters are generally considered bad. So I think we should go through them one by one, starting with Dizzy. Now, I've already made a video on why Dizzy is probably the worst character in the game right now, so you should go and watch that if you want more detail.
I need to thank you, Rainbow, for the happiness. I need to show Sword this video just so he'll get triggered.
Cool.
Just to trigger him. Hi, Rainbow. We're doing a YouTube watch today. Hello, hello. Say hi to everyone on YouTube. We're recording this for YouTube's sake.
details. But to give you the TLDR, Dizzy is a victim of Strive's balance philosophy. She was quite a weird character in the older games, having a lot of different things that she excelled in pretty well. But when having several of those things taken away, she wasn't given one firm identity and still has remnants of a bunch of her old game plans. Losing her double air dash, access to several projectiles, a weaker version of Fish, and getting a justice move to compensate for it means that she's found herself in a bit of a weird archetype limbo. You can still do well with her, don't get me wrong, but every option you
Sora
have
does do well
generally
with her.
leads to a dead end sooner than you would think. Her zoning? It's alright. Her set play? It's alright. Her pressure? It's pretty fucking bad. Her neutral? It's really not that good.
Her laser beam is pretty good for pressure, but you have to do the whole wing setup thing, and that takes a minute. So you have to have someone who's... I feel like her best move is the ice floor, because as someone who plays rushdown characters a lot, that really fucks with me.
Unique gimmicks, they're fine. There's just nothing about the character that truly excels, so there's nothing to really gravitate towards when playing her. She can still mess you up if you don't know what you're doing, and a good Dizzy player can use these tools in interesting ways. However, she's generally considered...
They just spam
pretty
ice
bad,
floor. That's
not
all Sora does, is
unplayable,
spam
but
ice floor.
definitely at the bottom of the tier list. Speaking of bottom of the tier list, from skies he descends to save those
Venom.
who need saving, fighting villainy wherever it may appear. Hearken, brace yourself. Potential Man is here. With so many possibilities at his disposal, what will he choose to do? Ow.
I mean... It's a move!
Okay. Venom is one of the most free-form characters in Guilty Gear Strive. However, he constantly faces his shortcomings anytime he tries to do anything that might actually be strong. He fits into the category of complicated character with high-reward tools, but no defensive options. There have been several characters that fit into this mold, and most of them have been top tier at some point in the game's life.
Happy
Leading
Chaos
towards
was really
the
good at one
Zona
point.
end of the spectrum,
Happy Chaos
the
was really good.
ideal Venom gameplay is to set up a bunch of balls and make it so the opponent has
But they
nowhere to
nerfed
go.
him,
In the
like,
midst of
I'll
this
get
chaos,
out.
you hit them with a cheeky mix-up in order to set up some devastating Okizeme and make them regret that they were ever born. However, unfortunately for Venom, the setup that he has to put into these sequences is never really worth the payouts. Let's take a character that has a similar philosophy to Venom. Asuka. Asuka is a setup-heavy zoning character
Yep.
able to put you
Who
in
just
extremely
spams
strong
fireballs.
sequences with long block strings and multiple mix-ups. In order to get these, he needs the right tools under the right circumstances. But if he sets himself up perfectly, he's able to make you literally not play the game for the next 30 seconds. By playing cautious and formatting his hand and deck correctly, Asuka is rewarded heavily for his efforts off of a good knockdown, or even just a good neutral interaction. The strongest Askas are able to play around with the opponent's mind and find themselves in situations where they are heavily rewarded. The risk comes now in the
It's time to duel! Believe in the heart of the cards, Joey!
fact that Asuka has no defensive options. While he used to have a DP, it was very situational and wouldn't necessarily get him in a position that he wants. Not to mention, once his shield is broken, he has the lowest HP out of anyone in the cast. Players
Yikes!
stop Asuka from
Below
setting up
400?
are rewarded heavily for it.
Jeez, no
High
wonder
risk,
nobody plays
high
him.
reward.
No wonder
Venom
nobody
is
fucking plays him.
pretty similar. While the risk for all of his things isn't as high, as he has a decent amount of HP, that means that the reward that he gets also isn't as high. While a lot of these characters have very good Okizeme or block strings, when Venom gets a good knockdown, he gets a left-right, a high-low, maybe. Yes, these are generally safe on-block mix-ups due to the balls hitting the opponent after Venom, and if you set them up correctly, it can do a decent amount of damage. However,
But
these
it's
setups
not
are
worth
really
all the
not
risk
worth the
that's
effort that you need
involved.
to go to in order
Yeah.
to actually set them up. They
I
require
could
you to
I
spend
could see
a lot
that
of
being
time
an
basically
issue.
doing nothing but setting balls and getting ready for the opponent to fuck up. This is compounded by the fact that he does actually have a decent option. Spamming Stinger. Venom's strongest option is to sit, set a ball, and then spam Stinger.
He can
into a
fucking
combo bunch of
Dante
the
you,
options the opponent
basically.
approaches. While the
Stinger!
ideal of
Stinger!
Venom is to make them have
Stinger!
a very strong sequence set up. The reality is he's kind of just a zone.
Anybody that's played Devil May Cry 3 knows what I'm talking about.
For him, there's a lot of other characters that do it way better than he does. I personally believe that Venom could be a very cool
It's like
character
double
in
jump, double jump,
Strive. And
Stinger,
I've actually been giving up
Stinger.
helping him move more in that direction. However, right now,
Oh, you want to
unless someone
fight a
finds an
three-headed
amazing piece
Cerberus?
of
Just
Venom
jump
tech
up,
that really
jump in
changes the
front of him
character,
and just be like,
he's kind of
Stinger,
still
Stinger,
stuck as spamming
Stinger.
projectiles
Follow
for
the ground,
most
double jump
players.
again. Stinger,
And that's a
Stinger.
shame.
Oh, his head's gone? Okay, do it to the next head, and the next head.
Out of all of the characters in the Season 4 pass, I would say that Unica is definitely the strongest, having an actual
Yeah,
game plan that
she's
she can
actually
enforce.
somewhat okay.
Sometimes. Unica's a Shoto-like character who wants the opponent to approach her so that she can get strong knockdowns and good RPS situations with some decent options to pester
But
opponents
her moves
that
are
on the
kind of
other side the
limited.
screen. Her stance means that she's able to really enforce the opponent to do the things that she wants to do, as she gets extremely
But she's only
advantageous
kind of
properties
okay.
on all of her attacks when she uses it.
Her
Most of her
main
opponents standing at further edges of the
skill
screen
set
and
is her
spamming your stance
damage.
will force them to get into the range that you want them to be in so that you can begin your actual game plan. However, if the opponent doesn't want to approach because that's how their character plays, or they have a life lead, then suddenly your game plan begins to fall apart. Due to her extremely slow movement and laggier normals, she's not able to close the distance.
Yeah,
as
her
easily as
normals
other
do
characters.
kind of fall
Not to
behind,
mention,
don't
if a
they?
character just
Never
generally
thought about
outranges
that.
her, she's suddenly not able to enforce her zone at all. This leaves her with her corner pressure.
And then you have the auto combos, which are a little annoying when you're trying to do mix-ups with her.
Unica's RPS is extremely interactable, meaning that players who have spent a decent amount of time labbing against her character means that they're able to find unique counterplay, which sometimes can give them an absolutely massive edge in the matchup. She's not terrible. She's viable enough.
She's viable. She's viable enough.
Wins, and I've definitely seen players do extremely well with her. Unfortunately for her, it just feels like there's characters that do what she
Does better.
better. Most
Yeah,
of the time.
I
She's definitely
agree.
the best
I
character
agree.
of the bunch, and while I would still say she's low tier, she's at least viable enough that if you're willing to torture yourself a little bit,
You
you'll
can
be able
play
to get
her.
over these weaknesses.
Yeah.
But it is absolutely an uphill battle. And
Yeah,
finally,
and I
we
just
have
wasn't willing to
Lucy,
deal with it.
who's honestly a little bit funky. Lucy's been out for the least amount of time, so there's a non-zero chance that this is just an opinion that's held because people haven't dug into her as much. But the general consensus of the player base is that Lucy is
Kind of sucks.
lacking in the majority of departments. She is a super fast character. One of the
But she
fastest
just doesn't
in the
hit
game,
hard
as well as
enough.
having a lower amount of HP. Alongside this, she has larger than average normals.
The
but exchanges that
HP
for
wouldn't matter
lower
if
than
she
average
just hit
hit
harder.
potential.
She doesn't
Her
hit
unique
hard.
hacking and shock state allow her to get into situations that other characters can't do and extend combos in ways that other characters aren't able to. However, these either require the opponent to hold what Lucy is doing or for her to spend meter, meaning that she finds herself being a very meter-intensive character and sometimes
With
even
hardly
giving up
any
her percentage
payoff.
in order to just get a shock state off. And even when she has a shock state on the opponent, she doesn't have enough tools to really enforce the game plan and scare opponents in the ways that other characters with this
Yeah,
kind of
exactly,
moveset
because she
have.
doesn't do enough
Lucy
damage.
requires a
Look,
lot
she
of meter to
barely
get
hurt Slayer
anything
with that
done.
hit.
And this is
But he
entirely
just
because
deleting her health
of
for her.
Contagion. The majority of Lucy's damage is spent in the Contagion debuff. Stacking it 4 times actually causes a lot of damage on the opponent, which leads to a little bit
Yeah,
of a
but
problem
you
that I
should
have
be
with this
able to
character.
play
What
her
I can say about
without
is really
using
cool.
Contagion.
The majority of the debuffs that she's able to put on people aren't that strong. You basically have to consider what you would want in a situation. And for the majority of players, more damage is something that they're not willing to give up for more risk gain, less meter gain on the opponent. Malfunction sees played quite a bit in specific combo routes just because it leads to extensions. But even then, it's very uncommon to not see a Lucy in the middle of a combo. Just dump 4 contagions on the opponent and call it a day. Outside of that, her gimmick isn't really that interesting or really powerful. She lacks a lot of tools at further edges of the screen.
Yeah,
and
she
while
just
she's
doesn't
fast,
have
she's
anything
not
to
able
hit you
really
hard.
enforce a zone or pressure when she's actually in. She has to play a lot of strike throw without having the benefits that other strike throw characters actually have. It seems like a lot of these characters have a similar problem. Unfortunately for them, there's other characters that kind of just do what they do, but better. If you want a heavy setup Zona character, Asuka's right there. If you want a Shoto-like who's able to enforce her zone extremely easily, you can pick Kai. And if you want extremely strong corner pressure, you can pick Ramlethal. If you want a fast pixie that's very good at running around, Chip is like top tier right now. The only character that I would say that doesn't fit this mold is Dizzy, and she has a whole heap of problems with her. It's very upsetting that all of the characters in this season are
Yeah, I
relatively
can't figure out how to play
competitive.
Dizzy.
But does that matter?
It's rough.
2.0 is coming out, and it's definitely going to save the game. But until then,
Hopefully.
unless you're a top-tier player, character strength doesn't really matter. I got Unica into Vanquisher. I know several people who've got Dizzy, Venom, and Lucy into Vanquisher. You can play these characters at a relatively high level and still have fun with them. Not everything in a fighting game
It's
is
not
about
like
the
you
balance
can't
of
have
a character.
fun, but
Sometimes
they
you
do
just
kind
like
of
playing
suck.
a character because they're fun to play, and that's completely fine. I think a lot of these characters are more vibe-based than anything else. In fact, I'd say most of the Strive DLC
Dragon
characters are
2000.
vibe-based. A lot of the characters
Just
that
don't
ended up
worry
being
about your
stronger than they
Discord.
were supposed to
It's
be
just
were
me.
because
I have it on
they
Do Not
just
Disturb. I'm not gonna hear any
kinda
notifications
ended
on
up like
Discord.
that. No one, when they were designing Happy Chaos, thought he was going to be a top tier for as long as he was, but eventually he was. Slayer was as strong as he was because, well, he's a character that does high damage, so of course he's
Yeah.
going to be strong. I
Yeah,
think
but
most
he
of the
was a little
characters were
broken. They did
absolutely
have to
nuts in
nerf
Season
him.
4. It's just unfortunate that balance wasn't as high as a consideration for the team this time. But that's completely fine. Honestly, we had so many balance problems to deal with in Season 4. I think it's actually good that we didn't get busted DLC characters. Could you imagine someone being stronger than Season 4 Potemkin? The community would have imploded.
Element
Hopefully these characters
Dragon
get the love that they
2000.
deserve in the next iteration
Alright,
of
then I
Strive.
just wanted
I
to
personally
tell
think
you
You're
we
fine,
should
Element.
see more fleshed out. Changing a couple of the numbers in her quick hack would make her really interesting. And like, make Unica viable again. I miss playing her. But until then, we can all point and laugh at the Dizzy players, because why are you still on that character?
Yeah, fuck you, Sora. I mean, yeah, Sora get good. I mean, yeah. But again, that was why Season 4 characters suck by GekkoSquirrel. Great channel. If you like fighting games, I do suggest following him.
Element.
Alright, so this is the crazy shit Americans say in my comment section by Evan Edinger. This was posted 4 months ago. He is, I believe, a person from New Jersey living in the UK with his girlfriend. They might be married. I don't know. I want to say it's his girlfriend. But yeah, let's see what kind of crazy things Americans say to him.
Well, in the US, you get shoot by a criminal. In Europe, you get stabbed by a criminal. Not too much a difference, in my opinion. I've done quite a few Shit Americans Say videos on my channel, but always from Reddit, and thankfully, never from the comment section of one of my own videos. That is until my last video on the quality of life differences between US and Europe upset and confused many Americans. So today I'm here to set the record straight. My name is Evan Edinger, and today we're looking at some...
I mean, I kind of get what they're saying. Like, there's violence everywhere, but I don't know. It feels like some countries it's just not as prevalent as America, because Americans just get kind of trigger happy, I guess, is the easiest way to put it. I mean, not everyone obviously, but like America's so large too that there's just a way more chance of violence to happen in that one country just because it's so massive and harder to police everybody.
common misconceptions that Americans have about the way the world works, which, of course, ranges from thinking having basic rights equates to communism to having a complete misunderstanding of the basics of grade school statistics.
This guy is
Possibly
very smart.
neighborhoods and more.
I enjoy
This
his
video
channel.
might be more eye-opening.
I'm gonna
than
go
you'd
ahead and
expect.
like
We're
it.
starting off with this comment. It is true, you might get shoot by a criminal in the US, and you might get stabbed by a criminal in Europe. However, I wouldn't say it's a difference in opinion. I don't feel like I need to describe the killing range and killing rate of a knife versus a gun. However, we don't really have to think about that either. If they'd just taken a second to read even the top comment and then Google it or just look up some data, they would have their mind blown. You see, top comment here we have, the knife argument doesn't work anyway because America has a higher rate of knife deaths per capita than the UK, as well as gun deaths. Top comment in reply to that though, classic should Americans say response.
I can see it because, like I said, it's harder to police a country that's so big. There's a lot of more open land for crime to happen on than, say, like a tiny island like the UK, for
Pretty
example.
sure the US has more people in a larger area. Jeez. Do you know what per capita means? No, I do not. And that's the issue. Per capita has already factored that in.
That's exactly what he
Per-person
said,
basis.
yes.
And yet, look at this graph. This is knife murders in the UK versus the US. And oh, that's strange. The US still has more. But I thought, isn't the right-leaning propaganda in the US constantly saying there's a lot of knife deaths in Europe? Well, I guess that's true. But oh, you look at this one as well. Oh, that's gun deaths. This is the graph, by the way, that you can just experience from living over here. This is the thing I was explaining, was you can just feel this. This as well, though, not that bad. Overall,
I
much
could see
from
that
knife
being the
stabbings
case.
and gun shootings. And for the rest of the comments that I'm going to be bringing up from my recent video, I really want you to focus on what this one person here has said, because I really think they're very correct on this. So from where I'm sitting, it seems like American exceptionalism lies at the core of most of these issues. Yes, very much so. The idea
I don't know what that means.
any other problem outside of America that has been solved, it can't be solved the same way in the US because America is different because of reasons. Oh, public transport
Okay, fair.
can't exist because American exceptionalism. Oh, we can't have that gun problem solved because American exceptionalism. There's no way of viewing the world outside of the American lens when you are brought up in the country and told basically nothing outside of the country except
You can't have an American and expect them to act like a German. Okay, Americans don't like potatoes as much as Germans do. Okay, like you just can't. Like, watch one episode of what's that episode of Hogan's Heroes where the Italian wants to order pizza and they're like, nah, we're gonna have potato soup. Potato soup. And the Italian just looks so angry.
from an American perspective, and that's so detrimental. These are the type of Americans that are also existing amongst you. We have, when the Russians and Chinese kidnap your children or shoot you, you will wish you stayed in America. And if you're like, oh, well, that's just one crazy American. Oh, no. If I search for Russia or China in my comment section from last week, it's just, here's another one. Of course, if Russia or China decide to overrun your little handout havens, we all know who you'll run to. These people
I mean, it is funny, but, like, can you blame them? Like, America does have, like, the strongest military power, and Trump is making, like, new battleships with railguns, like straight up, like, mock around out of fucking Halo Reach bullshit. So, like, I get it. I get making those kind of jokes.
are living in some fantasy world where, for some reason, the Chinese government, the Chinese army, and Russian army, they're just moments away from invading their shithole town in Kansas. And the first
Well, that's because they're told that by the news, and people just believe anything they see on TV because they have no intellect to think for themselves because they're all stupid.
place they're gonna go is this guy's house who's got a tiny little gun collection, and they're like, oh God, I'm gonna be able to protect myself from foreign invading armies that have bombs and trained militias because they won't come for me. No, don't tread on this guy. I've got 3 different guns in my house. It's such a Lulu brain space to be in, but yet I don't
It's funny,
blame them
though.
because the fact that so much of American media is promoting this essence of fear.
What I just said is the American media, because they want you to be scared, because if you're scared, you'll watch the news more, they'll get more ratings, and then they can partner up with businesses to promote products that you'll buy in it for, quote-unquote, in case of emergency, when really they're just fear-mongering you into making more money.
All the time. And
They're
I will
just
say,
they're just
it
trying to
brings
get you
Americans
to
together
make
against
them
a
more money.
common enemy of like, oh God, what if the Russians or Chinese
Don't watch
invade
the news.
any
It's a waste of your
But in
time.
reality, The video of mine was like, here's all the rights I've gained. And these people are like, yeah, well, Russia or China are going to invade and take them away. All right, let's just take off the little tinfoil hat, please. Thank you. Now, this next comment is incredible.
Don't do that. Last time I took off someone's tinfoil hat, it was in Borderlands, and the bastard tried to shoot me. I ran around, did everything I could to destroy those satellite dishes so he could take off his tinfoil hat, and then he just tried to kill me anyway. I just shoot him right in between the eyes. I didn't want to do that. I wanted him to be my friend, but whatever.
Incredibly interesting because it really allows you to see into the mind of many Americans that aren't crazy. They just don't know any better. For instance, this comment says,
yeah, it's
while you
ignorance.
wouldn't move
It's
back
ignorance.
to a car-centric neighborhood, I prefer to live in a car-centric neighborhood. I like the larger yards and quieter neighborhoods. I like driving my cars. Now, this comment doesn't
I
mean
hate
any
driving,
harm. They're like,
personally.
actually, I like my way of life, and you've described your other one, but I like my way of life, so that's what I'd like to keep. What they're forgetting is they're looking through everything outside the U.S. from a insular U.S. perspective. So you like
Exactly. They have never traveled
Did you know
outside
that
the
loudest part
U.S.
of
to
neighborhoods most of the time is
understand the
cars?
benefits
Yes.
that
Can you believe it?
those other
Also,
ways of life
wanting
can
a
provide
large
compared to
yard
their
and
own.
wanting to be able to drive your car that you like.
It's just
Oh boy, I'm
ignorance.
about to blow
It's
your mind.
ignorance.
Right now, in your not car-centric, car-dependent, you have to drive. In your car-dependent neighborhood, you
I don't
have any
like
other
driving.
choices.
The
You just
greatest
have to
thing
drive
about
around.
being
The
a
other day, last
VTuber
year,
is I don't
I
have
actually
to
uploaded a
drive.
video on my second channel. It's
I
right
hate
down the road,
driving. It's
where I cycled
dangerous.
from Amsterdam in the Netherlands all the way to Utrecht. 50 kilometers. Just wanted to see what the infrastructure was like. You watch too many Not Just Bikes videos and you're like, I bet it's not that nice. It was that nice. In fact, not once did I have to go onto a major
Dang,
road.
he
I
looks
got to basically
built.
cycle on safe, protected cyclepaths the entire way, and I had an amazing journey. I got to see so many things. But, oh, what's that? Oh, this was an interesting little town that I passed by that had, lots of cars in it. These people, they have a nice little place. They have a cycleway that's next to them, but they also can drive. And what's this? Oh, a very large yard.
He has a
And
point.
cars. So the people that
He
live
has a
in
point.
this town, which by the way is nowhere near a city, this place was in between Hilversum and Utrecht. And these people have a very large yard, they have a car, and guess what? If they want to go out, they can choose to drive because maybe they're like you. They like driving, of course.
Yeah, if you like driving,
some
there's
people
nothing
to.
wrong with
Or
that. I
on
just
a walk to the
personally
train
don't
station.
like
They have
it.
a lot of different options available. They have a lot of choices.
This is why I say anyone who no matter where you live, no matter what country you live, you should leave your country at least once so that you can open your mind to the possibilities and perspectives of other individuals and other cultures and other mindsets so that you can have empathy for your fellow humans a lot better and be more open to the positivity of a lifestyle of someone other than yourself.
They have a lot of freedoms to choose. If you live in a car-dependent neighborhood, all of that choice is taken away from you, and you have no choice. You just have to drive. So if you like driving,
But
you
if you're in a
actually want
place
to live in a
where
better
you can
designed
just
neighborhood that
bike
gave
down the
other options,
road,
especially
you have more
because
options.
If there are other options, that's more room for you on the road to drive. All the other people are going to be cycling or maybe taking the train. They don't have to drive.
Exactly. You
to
don't have
drive.
there's
Doesn't that
less
sound lovely?
accidents.
Right? Assuming
You
that
know?
neighborhoods that aren't car dependent, aren't quiet, and can't have the amenities that are available to you in your small American town is an example of not having much travel experience outside of your small American town. I would highly recommend if you
I used to when I used to work at Walmart, we were doing a remodel project and I was talking about, all the, cities I had been to and all the crazy places, traveling in my younger years and more recent years. And the guy's like, "That's crazy. I've never even left Asheville, North Carolina." I was like, "What? You know, cause I wasn't at my store. I was driving to another location to work on a different Walmart, so they had to, pay me mileage and there was like my hotel bill they had to pay for it and stuff like that. But he had never left that city that we were working in. And it was just like, what? It's crazy. I get not leaving the state, but like not to even leave that town. That's just like crazy. But a lot of people they don't leave the. I think the statistic is 25 miles. Most people in America do not leave a 25-mile radius their whole life. They live and die within that 25 miles. And that to me is just crazy, and you're squandering your life away not traveling. Life has so many experiences that you can enjoy through traveling and meeting new people. It seems weird to me.
If you somehow have the money to save up to go travel to visit a place, do it, please. And this goes as well for
I
the
agree.
next
Do
comment
it,
here, which
please.
is in two
Do it,
parts,
please.
very similar to the last one, but on completely different topics that show Americans thinking through their American lens exclusively at all times. As someone who has experienced socialized healthcare in Canada, I vastly prefer the system in the US. That's totally cool. You can prefer the system in the US.
Yeah,
Maybe you have
but
a lot of money and privilege to be able
there's
to have a
also
good insurance package
benefits
at
to
your
free
job. And you're
healthcare
like,
too.
I've heard
It's
and had
just
experiences
preference,
from my family
really.
with this bad system in Canada, so I'd rather have this US system that's good for me personally. That's okay. But yet again, what might blow your mind, can you believe that even in countries with socialized healthcare, you can still get private healthcare and spend money? I know. Yet again,
Crazy.
I went to the hospital in London.
But a lot of people don't realize that about places with private healthcare because a lot of people don't talk about it. The only person here lately I've seen talk about it is a channel called European Reacts. He is in Portugal and he reacts to American content about America. And basically, he had to have his gallbladder removed, and he got put on a really long waiting list, so he had to go with private healthcare, and it cost him a lot of money, he said. But I mean, it was still an option. You could still do it. And then there was another time, Charlotte in Japan, she had a lump in her throat that they thought was cancer, and she got put on a waiting list. And she just went to America and went to a hospital, and they took her in Florida, and it turned out not to be cancer, and they removed it, and she was fine. But like, the Japanese government let her do that, so like,
didn't have to go to the free hospital
You
if I
know.
wanted to. I could have just called up, gone to a private place, spent a lot of money, and gotten better care. But I didn't. In fact, I didn't have to. So it's kind of nice that, let's just say you have a lot of money, you can choose to get, better care, more immediate care. Sure, spend all that money and get that. But it doesn't mean that the people that can't afford things in society have to die. They actually can still get treated. It's kind of like the best of both worlds situation. And by you taking your large swathes of money to get private care, you're now freeing up the NHS's resources to now help the other people that don't have as much. So yet again, it's the best of both
Yeah,
worlds. So
yeah,
why would you
because
want
if
a
you're
system
going
that
with
only
private
has
healthcare,
a
you're not in
private
the
healthcare
queue.
system that only the richest of society can afford, and everyone else has to suffer and go bankrupt from being sick, versus one in which everyone can get healthcare, right? That makes sense. But the second half of this comment is just as interesting to me, and yet again has the same lens here. As for workers' rights, I don't understand wanting my employer to act as my parent. Okay, nobody said that. Little daddy issues maybe, I don't know. I view my employment.
That doesn't make sense to me. Like, workers' rights prevent you from getting falsely fired. Like, where I live, they can just fire you without a reason. And, job is guaranteed even if you do well at it. I would prefer to, if I was to work for a company, know that once I'm hired and I'm past my 90-day period, that that you're good.
As a business relationship and despise even the more limited laws in the US that force it into this paternal relationship. Okay, I will meet you where you are. So you view employment as a business relationship. What's the first thing you gotta do when you're entering into a business relationship? You gotta make sure you're both on even footing, right? You don't want any sort of imbalance of power so that one
But there
person has
is an
so much more
imbalance of
than the
power
other
in the
that They
US.
can enact basically whatever they want, and the other
Which
person
is, I
says
think,
that
the
yes,
point he's
because there's
gonna
such a
try
big
to make.
imbalance. Well, if you're in the 1950s, I'm sure that your little business relationship thing probably would work. Just go into a ma and pa store, shake hands with the owner, and you've got a job, you work this amount of money, you get paid. Sounds great, right? However, we're currently living in 2025. Most of us are. And so no one's really shaking hands
Yeah,
with
this
ma and pa
this
stores
video
anymore.
was 4
We're now
months
shaking
ago.
hands with billionaire conglomerate corporations whose entire goal is to siphon as much capital from society as possible to give the profits to the shareholders. And
Yep.
you, little man, are
So you
are
don't
going out into
matter.
this business and you're like, I don't need any laws. Actually, you can set your own price, big company. I really trust you. I love licking those boots. It's a very, very strange
Ew,
argument to have,
gross.
especially because it's just showing you haven't read The Grapes of Wrath, isn't it? If you guys haven't read The Grapes of Wrath, it's an American classic bit of
Very, very, very good classic book. Highly recommend
literature
it.
by John Steinbeck. Beautiful book. Very, very,
Very, very
fascinating.
good book.
Just one of the segments that's really eye-opening.
Okay, correction. I recommend listening to it. You can get it as an audiobook. It's very, very eye-opening.
Is the experience that happened when a lot of the poor were promised high-paying jobs if they moved to California, and when they
And
went
then they
there, it
didn't
turns out
get
there
it.
were so many of the poor that were trying to get jobs, the companies were like, oh, I know we said we were going to give you 25 bucks a day, but 10 cents a day is what
It's
we're
25
offering. And
cents
they're like,
a
what do you
day.
mean? We can't live off that. They're like, well, if you say no, we got a lot of poor people behind you, and 10 cents is better than 0 cents. And so that's what happens when you don't have laws to protect people. The companies will do whatever they can to extract as much value from people as possible, because money is
Or in my
corrupted. That's
case,
just
you're
how it
old
is.
and
So
you're
the government
slow,
is
so
actually
we're
meant to
firing
step
you
in
for
to make
someone
sure that
faster
companies
and
aren't doing these
we
awful
can pay them
predatory
less
practices.
money
A lot of people
an
complained in
hour.
my video saying,
They
well,
they
why
they
did you
were
work
paying me
at a
$18.50,
$2.13
fired me
an
and
hour
said we're
job
gonna
for 5
hire
years?
someone younger
So
at
some
16.
things that a lot of Americans
Bye.
might not realize if they just are, I don't know, reading into right-leaning politics a bit too much.
They're like,
We're
you
not in
can
a
come back
society
on day
where
shift
you
if
can
you
just
want for
choose any job you want.
15.
Having a job and having a small amount of
They
money
they
is
sent me
better
an
than having
email
nothing.
being like, you can
And
come
when you
back on
come
day
from
shift
nothing,
at 15 even though you were
$2.13 an
making
hour
18.
plus whatever tips you can get
Yeah,
is
fuck
good.
you. I'm
And
not
it is
coming back to
better
that place.
than having nothing. And so the idea that, oh, well, that's because you didn't get another job and you should have asked, I never once got a raise in my 5 years. Pizza Hut didn't agree with that. They said we didn't have to. $2.13. And yet again, the serving wage is still $2.13 in most of the USA. Sure, you
Yep.
say, oh, but what about tips?
That's how
The
much it
companies aren't
was.
paying
Dragon
anything. They don't pay
2000.
the wages. They don't pay
I
the
am
holiday
going to
pay
go
for
to
servers.
bed now.
It's just
So
insane.
good night
The
from
idea
over here.
as an American
I
who's
am
read
surprised
hopefully the
seeing
history
you
books that
streaming
teach you
today.
about the workers' unions
Good
that
night,
fought for the
Element,
rights that you
and
currently
yes,
are
I'm
able to have,
technically
going,
streaming, but
I
this
don't
is
even
more
like
of a
the
YouTube
limited rights we
video.
have,
As I
is
said at the start of the stream,
anti-intelligent.
we're making a YouTube video. But
it is
good night.
genuinely stupid. And I hate using that word, but also it is genuinely stupid. I hate that there's such a pussyfooting type of thing, especially on YouTube. You know, someone like me, I'm not supposed to say any of these opinions because if I say these opinions, well,
yeah,
then
you'll
those
get
people
canceled
hurt
for
and
it.
I lose subscribers. But life is about more than just fucking numbers. You know, money, subscribers,
I
all that type
agree.
of stuff.
I
just
agree.
feel like if we're not saying what's actually really happening in the world, then people will continue living in these fantasy lands in which
Element
their rights aren't that big
Dragon
of a deal.
2000.
Good
Because
night,
at the end of the
Element.
day, I make videos
Bye-bye.
saying, hey, isn't it nice to have free healthcare and basic rights? And I get comments like, I feel like this guy is the poster boy for socialism.
No, definitely not. He's just a guy that moved from New Jersey to the UK, has a different world opinion based on his life experience. There's no reason for this hateful comment like this. This is unnecessary.
There it is. If you guys are playing Should Americans Say Bingo at home, you can cross off your socialism or communism tick board. There we are. It's very sad that the American education system has really conditioned Americans to believe that any sort of increase in the rights that were established in 1776 and the scant little rights that they were granted through the 1850s and through the 20th century, that's where it ends. No more rights allowed because any more rights, that's socialism. You can't do that. And it's supposedly a bad thing, remember? Basically, his point seems to be people in Europe voted for Democrats. Now, I will be honest, guys. I have a bad habit I've been trying to get out of, and when I get comments that are so like this, I laugh, and I laugh at the person. It's a bad habit. However, when they're in my comment section, I'm like, you came here, and you thought Europe had Democrats?
I can get that.
If someone had
I
done
can
this
get
to
that.
me, a YouTuber or anyone else, and was like, imagine thinking Europe had Democrats. You know what I would do? I would go to this website. It's really cool. It's called Google, and I would look it up and be like, oh, dang it. Okay. And then I'd reply saying, you know what I meant, you know, and yeah, sure, I know what he meant, but it's just funny that he's viewing the entire world through his American lens where everything is Republican and Democrat. That's it. I actually don't know anything else. And instead, he went for the actual standard.
Well, that's because people are conditioned here lately to think everything needs to be related to politics and don't let things just be. Not everything has to be about how it is politically. I think that personally what's going on is a lot of people used to be religious. So they would they would focus the morals of everything around Christian values, right? Now a lot of people are atheists. So they don't have that as a base to base their Christian values. So they use politics instead. As their like moral compass, and then they focus on it too much and make it their whole personality when it's like, sure, it's okay whether you lean left or right to have your political beliefs, but they focus on it so much because they're being conditioned by like the American media and others to care so deeply about it when that's not what life's about, and they just focus too much on it.
American response. didn't look up anything, didn't admit anything was wrong, didn't.
It's
learn
okay to
anything,
care, but
just doubled down. Well, healthcare,
you don't need
gun
to
control, workers' rights,
obsess
paid
over
paternity
it.
leave, etc. They're democratic policies. Imagine not knowing you'd be called a socialist and a communist here for 100% supporting Democrats' agenda. So, for those of you that aren't American, this is the perfect example of an American brought up in an American society with only American information, and they just haven't received any information.
This is why it's important to leave your country at least once in your life and go experience the world. This is why it's important to leave your country. I have left my country several times, and I'm better for it. And I agree with him. This is a prime example of American only living in America and being ignorant to the outside world without properly being educated and trying to form an opinion. It's not that it's bad for you to have an opinion. It's obviously not bad either way, but it's ignorance, and it's annoying and frustrating sometimes to hear as someone who has traveled and been to other countries. So yeah, I can understand his frustration for sure.
Information, and even watching the video that I uploaded showing, hey, here's my experience, and I'm one of you actually. I'm from America, and yet look at this. Isn't this nice to have all these rights? Someone like this is like, Democrats in Europe. That's a socialist, communist world we live in. Oh, not in my U.S.
Because people are so damn obsessive.
Awful spelling, but because let's see. So I see he is positive in 15 min cities, like WEF would like everybody to live, easy to control population like that. There is a large subset of American society that has somehow been convinced that nice things are actually very bad. And a conspiracy is that nice things like being able to not wait in traffic, just go outside and get things you need, see people, human beings outside, and have everything you really need within 15 minutes, but you can still, go out and go further than 15 minutes. Americans have been convinced that's a bad thing because supposedly that means you're easier to be controlled. Oh God, gotta put on a little conspiracy hat. Nobody's gonna control me. No treading on me, not in my house. No China, no Russia. And they cannot understand because they've yet to experience anything outside of what the media has told them and what their small little lives are in their small little towns. And when they get this information from, for instance, my YouTube video, they go, nope, it's the Chinese and Russians and you're trying to control the population. And it's fucking sad.
It is kind of sad. It is. Like, people, calm down. It's okay to care, but like, you're being obsessive. Stop. Get some help.
But in my opinion, if Fox News and Twitter algorithms promoted the idea that breathing is actually super woke, we might actually get some improvements in America for once from the collective shift in the average IQ. I know we're all over the place with this, but I wanted to say I do appreciate all the kind comments I received on that video. I didn't expect all of the views I got on it or all of the positive or negative comments, to be very honest with you. But I'm very thankful for the people that were able to understand that I was just speaking my truth. I was like, here's my life experience. Here's what I've learned.
I haven't seen the original video, but
it was a raw topic that I wasn't necessarily like happy to talk about. It wasn't
I
like,
can
I
understand
can't
his
wait to,
frustrations.
make people think about these uncomfortable truths that I've experienced. But it was just my blunt, honest opinion on everything that's gone down. And I really appreciate people that were able to see that. However, this comment we've got from Cave Thug, we've got, please do us a favor and stay there. You're the special kind of stupid that's dangerous. And he keeps going on. I'm too stupid to know that I'm stupid, you see. He's very upset. I don't think this person got past 2 minutes because there's a special...
Let's read this. Please do us a favor and stay there. You're a special kind of stupid that's dangerous. You're too stupid to know what you do. You fear guns. Your fear of guns is like having a fear of heights so you can avoid anything tall. Instead of actually educating yourself at all about guns or actual statistics, you keep on staying uninformed and displaying all the astonishing lack of knowledge of the world as there is an actual informed opinion. I've been around guns my entire life, been shot at 0 times. Been shot at 0 times. Didn't he just... Been shot 0 times, been shot at 0 times. Okay, that was trippy. Including just the Philly, Chicago, and Detroit. Astonishing, isn't it? You think it's amazing? According to you, I must be the luckiest man alive. Stay in England and pray you don't have a daughter or that you ever tweet something the government doesn't like. Damn. He really hates the
This
UK.
subclass of American who, when they get any information that's like negative towards something they believe in, i.e., guns in this instance, oh no, we cannot accept. You must be dumb. Absolutely. Your lived no.
I
I've not
agree.
experienced life in any other country, but I can say you must be dumb because, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because this one line is very, very great. I've been around guns my entire life. Been shot 0 times. Been shot at 0 times, including trips to Philly, Chicago, and Detroit. Astonishing, isn't it? That is astonishing that actually was supposed to be like a very good like mic drop moment. Like, huh, can you believe it? I've never been shot. So I guess gun violence isn't a thing. This guy's just said he's never experienced it. So
Yeah,
it's
he's
not
acting
from-
like just because it
Sure,
hasn't
men who are
happened
like,
to
I've never
him,
catcalled a woman and I've never seen
that
it happen,
it's,
so therefore I think women are exaggerating a bit.
you
Why
know,
do I bring that up? Well, because that
not
was actually something
happening,
that I
which
did
it
for a
has
long
happened.
time. When I moved to London, I had heard all these things. There was the man spreading movement, and I was like, I bet women are exaggerating a bit with a lot of this stuff. And me and my other guy friend were talking to my friend Dodie about it and saying like, do you really have this issue? And she was like, are you serious? And we were like, yeah, we would never do that type of thing. So maybe it's not that big a deal. And she was like, okay, come with me. So we just went for a walk to Elfin Castle Station, just about a 25-minute walk. We walked quite far behind her just to watch, and it was an incredibly eye-opening experience for me. And that was an immediate point in which I went, oh, I'm wrong, and actually, maybe I should just listen to women, because 7 different men leered at her, catcalled her, said things from across the road. She wasn't dressed in any sort of way, not that that matters. She was just
being a
walking the
woman.
station,
Yeah.
and multiple men came up to try and talk to her in an uncomfortable way. So that's when I went, oh, okay, maybe we should just listen to women, or rather, it's not a man and woman thing in the slightest. Just listen to people that have different life experience to you. It's really not that hard. Now, this is pretty par for the
Wow. Listen to people who walk at different walks of life to try to learn their wisdom. Astonishing. I would have never thought of that. Based opinion, in my opinion.
Americans say things are pretty standard American exceptionalist comments that you see online. But this next one combines everything into one, including people from older generations who truly stopped learning when they were in their
Hold on. Head was itchy. Had to scratch it.
30s. The
There we
lazy
go.
get the poor life they deserve in America. I do want to pause there to say, regardless if you're in America or any other country, if you are not doing well financially, just want you to know that's not because you're lazy. I feel like a lot of people from older generations seem to have just completely blinded themselves to the fact that when they were young, it was easier to get by because the wages were able to support themselves, buying multiple homes and cars and things.
My grandma used to work at a Kmart when I was younger, and she would pick me up from school and take me back to Kmart, and I'd play in Kmart, waiting for her shift to end. And I remember there was like all these young kids, high school, that they would hire to work at Kmart, and they'd be making decent amount of money, just bagging up, general goods that that people were buying at Kmart, DVDs, VHS tapes, clothing, laundry detergent, whatever. 'Cause especially laundry detergent, because back then you had to buy laundry detergent for your whites and laundry detergent for your colors, because if you washed your colors with your whites, your whites would turn purple or pink or whatever other color. You couldn't do that. You had to use different laundry detergent. But anyhow, that was a side tangent. But yeah, they would have all these nice cars, and they start paying payments, and then over time, Kmart started firing people and not increasing their pay to increase with the cost of living, and they were struggling to make their car payments, and they would ask for raises and stuff. Kmart, and they'll be like, "Fuck you," and then they started having these really anti-customer policies, like you see in like modern places like Walmart today, and really started screwing these kids over on their money, and a lot of their cars got repossessed and stuff. So yeah, it's crazy.
Things that they wanted to do with their lives. Whereas today, because the wages have completely stagnated, but the cost of living has gone up.
That's
That's
exactly
not
what
possible.
happened back then,
And no
even
matter
in the
how hard people
90s.
try, my mom had 2 jobs to try and support us, and yet
It was definitely
like,
easier
well,
back in the
when I was
day.
a
Around the
kid,
90s, it started
when you were a
getting
kid,
rough.
It was really nice, wasn't it? If only the people in your generation didn't, collectively screw over everybody else with your lovely policies. I was raised by good American parents and righteous American values. I have no trust fund or inheritance. I have a very healthy life and satisfying life here with a great career that I earned through determination, honest, skilled work, and an independent, strong mindset. This is a comment on a video where I was like,
Yeah, and you're like one of the top 1% of the people in the country. Not everyone can do that. Most people struggle just working at McDonald's, dude.
hey, I moved to the UK and I got all these rights. And this person's like, yeah, well, I got a lot of stuff in America through hard work and determination. Okay, I don't know how that's relevant at the moment, but we'll go on. I love this bit. He says, I have great healthcare. Great to be privileged. Congratulations. But I love this.
Yeah, not everyone can
have
afford to pay for
more
that.
freedom than any first world country I've visited in any Europe. And I will say, I have to defer to this man. I have only been to one Europe. I've never been to the second one. I've heard good things.
Yeah, he's been to more than one Europe. I think he meant more than one European country. But yeah, his grammar skills are so good, man.
Actually, no, I've heard according to him, it's not that good. Much disagree with most of this man's beliefs on America. Glad he's happy. Glad it works out for him. Thank you. He is of a younger generation, and many of them think the grass is always greener on the other side. So here's where you're
Yeah,
wrong.
I hear that a lot. The
I
grass
don't
is
think
greener
that.
on the other
In
side.
fact, the video was me knowing that. That is a video of me saying, hey, guess what? Here's my life experience, and here's some stuff that I actually do know. I don't think that the grass is greener in terms of the quality of life things that I care about. I've actually shown you it very much is. So regardless of what your opinion is on, oh, these youngins think the grass is all...
So he's basically complaining that he thinks the grass is greener on the other side, but he's literally showing the two different blades of grass.
No. We know we're living in reality. We're not living in this world where you can just walk up to a job and shake hands and you've got a job and you're getting enough money to pay for a car and pay for a house. No, we're living in 2025 in which times are struggling. You can't even afford a mortgage? No, mortgage. You're trying to pay rent. I know so many Americans that are struggling right now back where I'm from because they can't afford shit, because life is so expensive they can barely afford rent. And it's depressing when people that are in older generations just have their blinders on so far up their own asshole.
I mean,
They
that's
can't
not
possibly
unique to
understand.
just
They stop
America,
learning.
though. I'm
I just-
sure that's still the
I
case
will
in other
continue
countries.
enjoying my vast open spaces, responsibly owning
You know.
firearms, and as many automobiles.
Like,
as
if
I
he
can
lived
reasonably
in Portugal,
afford,
he'd probably
such
think
American
Portugal is
response.
the
But I love
greatest
this
place in the world,
and
too.
enjoy without dependence on trains and buses. Right now, myself, I could own a car if I wanted to. In fact, I'm not dependent on the bus or my e-bike or walking. I can choose anything. The only dependency is when you only have one option via cars, which is what you
Which
have.
is
It's
what
okay
he's
if you don't
critiquing
wanna
the
admit that,
most.
and you don't want to admit any of these freedoms because it makes you feel insecure about yourself. That's okay. I'm not saying that with this information you have to be upset about your current privileged life. It's totally okay that you're living life really nicely and you're satisfied. and
Yeah,
you work hard
it's
and who you are.
perfectly
But I'm really
fine
sorry
if
to
you
say
enjoy
that a lot of people
that
younger
kind
than
of
you are struggling,
lifestyle.
and it's not their fault. It's actually the government's fault. It's actually your fault. And guess what? That might make you uncomfortable, but sorry, that's 2025.
It's
That's
true,
what we're
though.
living in.
It's
And not to depress
true.
all the Americans in the audience, I just want you to know there are so many intelligent Americans that enjoy learning and enjoy finding out things and finding out their
Yeah,
wrong and then
not
changing their
everybody's
opinion.
that way,
And in
but
fact,
a
I
lot of
really wanna
people
end
are.
on this lovely comment I got from Craven here, who says, whenever the subject of Americans abroad come up, I can't help but think about this quote from one of America's best, somewhat ironically. Travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness, and many of our people need it sorely on these accounts. Broad, wholesome, shareable views of men and things cannot be acquired while vegetating in one little corner of the earth in all one's lifetime. Mark Twain,
Which is what a
great
lot of
American.
people do, and you
So
shouldn't do that.
That is something I genuinely believe in.
Great
And
video.
I kid you
Great
not,
video.
The second I landed in England and was able to experience things, and the second I traveled to other countries and was able to experience things, and
Yeah,
talk
'cause
to
he's
people
been to,
and
like,
learn about how
Germany and
life is
stuff.
different, and not necessarily better or worse, but different, and then learning about it and learning what makes those differences the way they are.
If you're not
that
learning, you're dead.
widened my worldview. That made me understand a lot
If you're
more.
not learning,
And
you
I
might
wish
as well
that
be
more
dead.
people had the opportunity to do that because
You should
I
always
genuinely
be
believe that
learning and
travel is one of the
improving.
biggest things that you can do to open your mind to things and get out of the insular education system in the U.S.
I agree.
where all media is
I
currently
agree.
from a U.S. lens. I do think that's personally the biggest problem here, and I don't know any solution for it, except maybe spend some time watching YouTube videos on any topic that you want from creators that aren't necessarily American. I love watching YouTube because there's so many things that I can learn about the world. But if you're always turning yourself off to any information that slightly threatens your worldview, you're going to remain.
A lot of people do that though,
And
unfortunately.
that's just insane to choose to be like that. Anyway, yeah, everyone spotted the Rob Words cameo. I took him out to the Mayflower pub in London for a little cheeky pie and a pint the other day. It was really nice.
Alright, I'm gonna consider that done. That was the crazy Americans say in my comment section, uploaded 4 months ago by Evan Edinger. Probably butchered that. But yeah, great video. Definitely a fun guy. I've been subscribed to him for a while. He's always very interesting with his opinions. I don't necessarily always agree with them, but you know, I feel like this was well done. This was a well done video. Alright, so we got one more video for today, and then I will wrap things up. Hassan! We're gonna watch this Rev Says video about Hassan, because apparently there's some kind of drama going on in space. I watch these videos all the time. I see a lot of people react to these videos. I was like, you know what? I should react to these videos instead of just watching them on my own, because I always have a lot of thoughts on these. So this was uploaded a week ago. Rev Says Desu, 755k subscribers. And yeah, we're gonna watch this.
Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So today we're going to be looking at some updates regarding Hassan Piker and some of his strongest orbiters who are currently
Hassan
in a
orbiters,
multi-day
gross.
campaign going after content creators
I like Rev.
Emiru and
I don't
Asmongold.
agree with all of his
More
takes,
attacks
but
coming from his orbiter,
he
Denims,
makes
towards
very
Emiru
good
for simply not wanting
engaging
to be
content.
political in her streams, and then Hassan will take it a step further by shaming Emiru for her connections to problematic people like Asmongold.
Asmongold. It's always Asmongold that people have trouble with. I love Asmongold, personally.
Twitch for his
I, again, don't always agree with his takes, but...
of their TOS. Can you say pot calling the kettle black? I mean, no self-awareness in this man whatsoever. So, quick recap of what we talked about a few days ago. Emiru, a very popular streamer, comes out with this clip here basically saying, if you need opinions about ICE or other political matters, why are you talking to streamers like me? Go find someone who's more qualified.
Yeah, I saw
totally
this on Twitter.
And rational thing to say, by the way. But, of course, enter one of the biggest Hassan orbiters, Denims TV. She was very upset about this, so upset that she is pushing aside the current copyright infringement lawsuit she is facing from Ethan Klein to rile up some more fights, and she came out with this post.
That's a crazy lawsuit, by the way. I watched about that. That was
chud. Amazing stuff.
Yeah, I saw this tweet as well. I was like, what the hell?
Hassan Piker joined in on
that meme! Oh my gosh! Collargate keeps going. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Going after Emiru while claiming to,
That's funny.
Not say she's a bad person, but of course say basically she's a bad person because of her associations.
Emiru's fine. I've watched Emiru. She's super sweet.
Take a guess.
I don't think she's a bad
not
person.
Just consuming at that point is supporting and regurgitating her to her apolitical audience. Her audience is not apolitical. Her audience is right wing. Let's be fucking real. And
let's be fucking real, Hassan. You shocked your dog. That's right. I'm calling it. You shocked your dog. I know you shocked your dog, dude. We all know you shocked your dog. Shut the fuck up.
And she is performing to an audience. Like I said, I think it is the financial pressures of having an audience that is comprised almost entirely of Asmongold's biggest fucking dipshit warriors is the major reason as to why.
Why does he have such a boner for Asmon? I've never understood that.
Why she's not revealing her perspective on ICE or until she got, yelled at. From where I'm standing, though, I don't think Emiru's a bad person in general, but she is actually very comfortable and very, directly aligned and financially entangled with actual bad people. I will say that about Asmongold. Asmongold's a bad person.
So besides joining in on this harassment...
Yeah, when you shock your dog, dude, you have no right to comment on who a bad person is. You shocked your dog, and then tried to put tape over the shock prongs to say you didn't do it. Like, people are not gonna notice it's fucking electrical tape, you dumb shit.
Harassment campaign that started with denims. Hassan tries to create guilt by association. He's basically saying because you're around people like Asmongold, you're not a very good person, or that reflects negatively on you. And I think it is incredibly desperate. It's a desperate.
Yeah,
mix,
it
but it's
is desperate. I
ironic
agree.
Coming from him, think about all of the problematic people that Hassan associates with. Think about his orbit, which is filled with people who say crazy, racist, anti-Semitic, violent threats, among many other things, to content creators and other people who simply disagree with them or criticize them. And again, guilt by association, brother. You're literally friends with an active terrorist. What are you talking about?
I agree. What
You
the fuck
platform
are
this
you
guy,
talking about?
And he's still simping for you all the time. You've never disavowed anything this guy's doing. In fact, you glazed him up in this interview because he watched what
Yeah,
he
look
does.
at that
I mean, it's
smile. Like, what the
absolutely
fuck?
But something very interesting happened. A clip would resurface from Denim's TV, which proves that these people, they don't believe in anything they say. These are the legitimate grifters who change their opinions on the fly to try to get more viewers or to adapt
Yeah.
to changing times.
They
And
don't.
Denims
They
was
just
called
go
this
with
whole
whatever
clip
the
where
current trend is
she's
to try to
dunking
get
on
clicks.
Hassan.
Everyone on the left is so socially woke that they feel like they can't possibly be wrong. Point in case, Hassan. Like, if Hassan thinks he's morally more virtuous than someone else, he just flames them. I'm forgetting the word I want to use, but he just flames them. Like, he doesn't actually make any genuine good faith.
Wow. So now we're learning
know
what
what I
you
mean?
actually think about him.
Like, he doesn't give people any amount of benefit of the doubt. He just starts railing on people.
Yeah, so we hear all the
Wow.
time the words
What a
grifter
bitch.
or hypocrite. This is a grifter and a hypocrite. This is
I
someone who over
agree.
the past couple
This
of
is
years
awful.
has completely done a 180 on her opinion of Hassan, and really with her opinions generally. She made a correct observation. I don't know what happened to her, but she made a correct observation here.
She
pointing out that
did.
He doesn't make
She did.
genuine good
He
faith
doesn't.
arguments
He doesn't
towards
give
people. He
anyone a
just
chance in
relies
any of
on
the clips you
personal
see of
attacks
him.
and other hollow
He just
attempts
roasts you
to engage
alive.
with people. She was entirely right. But then she does a 180. Clearly to keep an audience or grow her audience. There's no other explanation for being such a blatant hypocrite on the subject, because Hassan, in this regard, I could say he hasn't changed. No, I think he's gotten worse in this regard. So, yeah, it's very
I
obvious
never heard
hypocrisy here.
about
But
Hassan
there's the other
before
elements here.
Asmund mentioned him, so I'm not
Dragging
sure.
in
I can't really
Asmongold.
comment on
briefly
that.
talked about this the other day. It wasn't good enough to go after Emiru. Denims was also using this as an opportunity to drag in her friend Asmongold, who obviously is defending not only his friend, but also himself from all of these personal
He called her
attacks
kitten?
from Denims and alike. But she is reveling in the attention. In fact, she really thinks she's got Asmongold on lock, like she has owned him completely, and that couldn't be further.
Why
from the
does
truth.
they?
Just
Why
listen to
does
the
she
crazy
have
stuff
their
she
messages?
is saying.
That's
At
private.
this point, he would have made a bunch of jokes.
Yes.
He would have smeared my character. He would have.
I guess that's
smeared my
Asmund
name,
reacting
who
to it
even
and her
cares what
reacting
this
to his
person-
reaction.
Everybody knows.
Well, nobody cares what you think. That's the reason why you're talking about people who people.
Oh, what's that you're doing right now? Exactly what I said you would do if you weren't mad. Because I'm reading you like a book, so now you have to prove that you're not mad by doing what I said. Okay, good doggy. Now bark. Now roll over.
People do care what they think.
What
a
an
worthless
awful
nobody.
person.
You always be a worthless nobody.
Oh, and what's that?
That's why you have to sell.
Insulting me. Okay, now good dog. Now bark. Sit. Good dog.
What an awful
yourself to pay for your
person, and
lawsuit
people
because
follow
you're too
her.
stupid to understand fair use. You're worthless. You'll always be worthless.
Oh
doesn't
no!
matter.
Another person calling me a whore. My life is.
He didn't call you a
ruined.
whore. He called
But
you
the funny
worthless.
thing about this is that to prove that he's not mad, that he's super not mad about Emiru, he's doing what I said that he normally would do if he wasn't mad, because I read him to filth. And he has no response, so he has to prove how not mad he is by saying, "No, I'm not mad."
This
I'm
does
so
not make
mad
you
that
a
I'm gonna
good
do all the
person,
things that
girl.
he
What
just
are you
told me
doing?
that I wouldn't
This
do
makes
if
you a
I
bad
wasn't mad.
person. What are
I'm
you
proving it to
doing?
you right now. I'm proving it to you right now. See, this is how not mad I am. I did exactly what you told me to. Now, can I get a treat?
What else do you say? First of all, like, ew, the way she's talking.
Yeah,
and,
it's just completely
pretty ironic she's
deplorable.
using
It's
this dog-related
disgusting.
language when she's the one who's denying that Hassan ever shocked his dog. But yeah, people.
We
just
all
point
know
out
Hassan
that
shocked his dog.
Dems
There's no
brings
debating
nothing
it.
to the table, and she should be very thankful, by the way, that people like Emiru, they don't really want to be political, and they don't want to get any sort of flack from people like Denims.
Wow,
because
straight up
when
calling
Denims
her
goes
an
after people
OnlyFans
like Emiru,
girl.
people question Denims and her views even harder.
I mean, I
which
may
don't
be
think she
one,
really wants.
but
She has a
like,
room temperature
I admit
IQ.
that, you know, I don't hide
Everyone
that.
knows this. Her claim to fame is being a Hassan orbiter and selling her body on OnlyFans. And, you know, for someone who's facing a really tough hill with the copyright infringement lawsuits filed by Ethan Klein, you would think she'd be focusing on that and not picking fights and slandering very large
Yeah, it's
content creators. And
unprofessional.
also,
She
keep in
doesn't need to
mind,
do that.
Asmongold's been opening up lawsuits against multiple people or handling ones filed towards him. So he is lawyered up. And I wouldn't be surprised if he wants to go
Asmongold's
after
got the
people
money to afford a good
like
lawyer
this. But
too.
that's all for Denims. Much like her, Hassan and his obsession with
Asmongold,
is not just
yeah.
creepy, but
That's
it's
funny.
also hypocritical.
Isn't that like a
because
Photoshop
Hassan,
of
in
like
his
a
infinite
Windows
wisdom, has come out and
98
called on Twitch to
screensaver?
ban Asmongold for what? His apparent
Because
and
can't you like you
continuous
set that as a picture
violation
in
of their
a
terms of
screensaver in
service.
Windows 98
40,000 people.
and then just put Hassan in the middle?
40,000 people in this community. We have to be more aggressive with these people because you don't want to have them go around and bully and try to.
What's up, Twitch? Twitch, y'all seeing this? He's directly. I mean, how is this any different than what Aiden Ross got popped for? Okay.
Force them.
This
Other
guy
content
is
creators see
not
this shit
very
for the
good
record,
to watch.
Okay, they see it. Twitch will give him a perma after the midterms? Nah, probably
Confused
not.
Charles.
I mean, we'll see.
Hi, Charles.
27 wave.
We're filming for YouTube right now.
His
How are you,
comeuppance
Charles?
Will be inevitable, okay? Because once again, either he will turn around and retriangulate, which seemingly he's not doing right now, okay? Or once it's over, once like the power is over, the power.
He's
of
in a
this
very nice
administration
looking
is
room.
over
I
in
will
ways
give
that
him
even,
that.
like,
though.
massive
Charles.
corporations can fucking recognize.
good.
At that
How
point,
are you today?
Twitch
I'm
will get
good.
its
I
balls
I
back.
was trying to think
Okay.
of what I could
At that
make
point, Twitch
another
will get its
YouTube
balls
video out
back,
of,
and we'll
and
realize,
so
like,
I was
okay, we
watching
can
other
actually take some
creators, and I
punitive
was like,
measures against this
I like
person
watching
once again who's
YouTube
a
reactions,
serial
so we haven't
violator
done a
of the terms of
YouTube
service
reaction in a
and
while.
has made this
Let's do a
fucking
YouTube
platform
reaction.
uninhabitable,
So-
unsustainable, and incredibly toxic.
Like
Because
said
I used
earlier,
to do
there's
these
never
like once
been
a
man
week,
who's more
but
hypocritical and lacking of self-awareness more than Hassan Piker, the guy who's constantly and blatantly violating Twitch's TOS is now turning to Asmongold and Twitch and saying, do something about this guy. Get rid of him. He has to be banned. Yeah, a desperate move. And also for those who are not familiar, his little YouTube project, his side project while he was briefly banned on Twitch for what, the 7th or 8th time. He was on YouTube streaming and he even admitted that was basically a failure. He wasn't getting the numbers, and he came out and said
well,
that
no
basically he didn't
shit.
like the split viewership because his numbers on Twitch fell because some people were going over to YouTube, and he's obsessed with appearances and numbers, so that just wouldn't fly. So he's back to exclusively streaming on Twitch so he can have bigger numbers and inflate his ego and, I guess, get some sleep at night.
Yeah,
'cause
he's
those
not a
things are bad,
very.
according
He
to,
doesn't seem like a
Hassan.
very nice guy.
But anyways, that's going to do it for today's video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
Alright, that was the last video that I wanted to react to. Again, that was Hassan and his orbiters just got completely exposed. I gotta go back.
Hey, what's up, guys? We're here.
Autoplay sent me to another one. 7 days ago by Rev Says Desu. Very informative video. You can think whatever you want about Rev, but I think his video formats are very entertaining. You know, I don't think he's a grifter or anything like that. I think he just says his opinion. Whether you agree with it or not, he just states his opinion. Very good video. I think between this one and the crazy shit Americans say in my comment section by Evan Edinger here, they're probably the best ones. But yeah, really good videos today. For any of you watching on YouTube after the fact, hi, hello, I love you. But yeah, that's gonna do it for today's reactions. I'm not planning to do these all the time. Still every once in a while, I mainly want to focus on games. I'm not a political commentator or anything like that. I just sometimes think it's good to put my thoughts out there and everything, and you guys seem to like it when I do react to YouTube videos. So I'm going to go for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely remember to follow and like the videos yourself if you enjoyed them. And I will put the links in the descriptions for you guys to watch the actual source videos. If any of the creators in this video don't want me to react to their stuff, just send me an email. You can get my business email from my ex, and just let me know you're not okay with me reacting to your stuff. I'll remove the video and not react to you in the future. All right, bye, bye, bye. My mouse.